Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me. I'm Coach Phil. I want to start with who I am. I'm the leading sales trainer in the United States of America. Trained many people who've gone on to become millionaires and multimillionaires. If you're watching this on YouTube, I want to thank you. Please like it and subscribe to the channel. If you're not watching it on YouTube, you can go to right to YouTube, Elite Sales Producer Training, and watch all our other great training material and subscribe to the channel. We would appreciate that. For those of you, a lot of times I'm getting contact from people because we get thousands of views on YouTube, other things, who want to talk with me, see if I can help them. I give 30 minutes of free time, any industry, anything you'd like to do, talk about anything you want. And at the end of this, I'll give you a slide and give you the phone number and email and tell you how you can contact me or text me and we can talk. Now, today, we're talking about the power of scripting to increase sales. I was the leading salesperson in the insurance industry for several years, but I've trained people in almost every industry. And I want to be honest with you, I never thought much of scripting. Never used it very much, even though I really did. For example, I did more live seminars than anybody in the history of the business, and I had the outline in PowerPoint of each seminar, but I'd memorized it, so I really didn't need it. But that was scripting. So we'll start with, what is scripting? Scripting is the prepared use of words so you know what to say. It's not a canned speech, but if you are in sales, it's so important, absolutely so important. And let me tell you, it gives you the opportunity to always know what to say from A to Z. Now, elite sales producers have a script book. And I work with Dr. Donald Moyne, who's author of, Steve, what's the name of the book? I always say Unlimited Selling Power. Is that right?
I think it's Ultimate Selling Power.
Ultimate Selling Power, which you can get that on Amazon, by the way. Success Magazine called one of the top 10 sales books of all time. Don is a sales psychologist, and he did the Morningstar column for 5 years on practice building. Now, he has scripted for almost every one of the Fortune 500 companies who pay him 6 figures or 7 figures to develop scripts for everything from call centers to high-powered sales executives. So what you're not probably aware of is, let's say when you're calling in and you've got an issue with your phone or your electric bill, or you want to see how much that thing on TV that was advertised is to buy. Everybody you're talking to is following a script. I guarantee it. They're not winging it. They're following a script and they're being monitored. So for you as an elite sales professional, you need to know what you're going to say at all times. So having a script book is so important, and developing it from A to Z. Now, Donald Moyne wrote an incredible script book for any industry with a leading financial planner by the name of Tom Gow. And it's not very expensive. Text me or email me at the end if you're interested. I'll give you his contact information to buy it. I think it's $250. I don't get a commission. I don't get a commission at all, but I know that it's amazing for any industry. Actually, I had to pay for mine, but that's okay. But the longer you're in the business, the more you want to develop your script book so you know what to say at any time. Scripting prepares you for the negatives, and it prepares you for the objections with appropriate rebuttals. For example, I want to think about it. So let's say it depends on what you're selling. That's a very common maybe the most common objection, don't you think, Steve?
Oh, definitely.
I want to think about it. So if you're selling cars, you do what Zig Ziglar calls the puppy dog close. You say, that's great. Take the car home for the weekend. Here's the keys. No cost, no obligation. Need a copy of your driver's license. Enjoy it with your wife. Don't drive it across country. And then let me know on Monday or Tuesday what you think. Let's say you're in the financial services business. I want to think about it, or the insurance business, or real estate. So financial services and insurance is an intangible, cars, real estate are a tangible. Depends on what you're selling. So what you would say is, that's fine. I understand that. What is there exactly for you to think about so I can answer and prepare for what you want to know? In other words, I want to know what the issues are. I'm not being pushy here, Mr. Prospect, but I want to be able to give you that information so when you're thinking about it, you can think about the entire picture. Because maybe they didn't understand something you said, or maybe they have a question they didn't ask. So you're not trying to get them off thinking about it. You're trying to find out what their objection is or what they think they need to think about. And so you can answer that up front while they're thinking about it. So let's say you're showing them a house and the housing market may have cooled down. And well, they want to think about it. And you would say, tell me what it is you're thinking. Let me answer the questions. And then you and Martha go think about it. Well, I thought maybe the kitchen was a little small. And you say, okay, are you aware for a very small amount of money, we could take that wall out and expand the kitchen and have your dream kitchen if you like the rest of the house? And I'm sure I can get the owner to do that for you. But let's talk a little bit about scripting. Let's say you're selling real estate. So what you want to say when they come into the house is, look at this incredible backyard. Can you imagine the great times your family is going to have here on holidays and Father's Day and Mother's Day and Sunday grilling and when they have their friends over? Think about the memories you're going to create. That's scripting, because you want them to picture the happy times they're going to have living in that house. Or think about the fact that we're 2 blocks away from one of the best schools in the state. And you're going to be able to take the hand of your children and walk them to school every day and pick them up because you're so close. And those are memories you'll cherish forever and you just can't buy. So it's not canned, because I want to add one very important word. I hope you write this word down: sincerity. Whenever you script, you want to be sincere. You want to be sincere, but you have to know how to answer. And especially great elite sales producers have a list of what they call rebuttals to objections. Now, I want to start with this. We're in a society where everybody objects to everything. Can't make anybody happy about anything. It's sad. But what I want you to think about is, a rebuttal is not argumentative. You're answering their objection. But you want to have this prepared so that you know. Let me give you an example. Let's say you have a life insurance salesperson and they presented a policy that the person can afford and they desperately need to protect their family, and they want to think about it. And so the answer should be, Mr. Prospect, why don't you take an application? There's no money. There's no obligation. You don't have to take it. And let me get the insurance company to approve you while you're thinking about it. So if you decide not to do it, no harm, no foul, no deposit. And if you decide to do it, you'll be approved. That's the example of a rebuttal to an objection. Steve, what do you see? How often do you see salespeople who are just fumbling for words because they haven't scripted things out?
I actually hear that a lot, Phil. One of the things that I like to tell people is as you build your script book, as you build the scripts that are going to answer the objections that you run into in your daily sales process, that also builds your confidence, because now you're no longer worried about that objection. As a matter of fact, I think Dr. Moyne says, take the objection that you're most afraid of, the one that you don't want your prospect to say, and write 2, 3, 4, 5 rebuttals on it, and you'll no longer be afraid of that. Your confidence will go through the roof. The more confident that you are, the better you do your job, and the more able you are to help your prospects and clients.
I think that's exactly right. By the way, once again, Dr. Moyne's script book is amazing. We're not getting a commission. We're not doing anything, but just telling you it's a great script book. If you're interested in that, we'll give you his contact information. And if you're interested in talking with me, how I can help you script or do anything else for your business, happy to talk to you for a free consultation. I want to give you an example. Let's say you're selling cars and you run into somebody and he comes up and he goes, but Phil, if I buy this new car, the minute I drive it off the lot, I've lost 20 or 25% in value. And I'd say, Sam, you're right. That's why I'd say, first of all, let me ask you a question. Are you going to be selling it or getting rid of it soon? No. Then that really isn't an issue because you're going to be keeping it long term. But if you want to avoid that, we have a pre-owned certified where you can buy a car that's almost like new, but the depreciation has already been taken and you can save a lot of money for somebody who drove the car for a few months and gave it back to us and we redid it and it's perfect. Let's say you're in a restaurant, and I'm going to tell you a great scripting story here from when I was a young man. And somebody says, really like to try that dish, but I'm concerned I wouldn't like it. You would say, well, let me bring you a taste of it, or let me bring it to you, and if you don't like it, I'll replace it at no charge. So I told this story before. When I was a waiter, and I grew up very poor, and I was so lucky that I had a wonderful family who allowed me to work at a very high-end resort. And this is in the early 70s, so I'm 65 years old, and I was making a lot of money in the early 70s, especially being 16 and 17. And we would serve, because this was in Michigan, Lake Superior whitefish. Now, Lake Superior whitefish is a really good, tasty fish, especially fresh. But of course, you would hear, young man, are there bones in the fish? Okay, all fish has bones. So I remember the first time I was asked this, I went back and asked Al, the head waiter. The guy was a genius. I said, Al, what do I tell him? He goes, tell him that's how it was held together in the lake, the bones. So I went back and I said, ma'am, Al has told me to tell you that, yes, ma'am, there are some bones, not enough to bother you, in the fish, because the bones were needed to keep the fish alive in the lake. And they would laugh and I would laugh and they would order it and they would love it. Okay. So if you think about it, it's not to fight or argue. It's to present it in a different light. The purpose of scripting is so that you know how to answer things. That's the key. You always know what to say. And folks, I cannot emphasize enough. Scripting, I think, is the foundation of all aspects that you have to master sales and become an elite sales producer. You have to master emotional appeal selling, which is building trust, marketing and prospecting, referral networks, closing your products, your competitors' products. But scripting is the foundation of what you're going to build on. And once again, sincerity. It's not a canned pitch. You're being sincere. One of the things that you should do is think about what things that you can write down, begin your own script book. Folks, I need to tell you, every great elite sales producer in every industry has a script book. Even if it's not a formal script book, they know what they're saying at all times. One of the things, Steve, you work with a lot of new salespeople.
That's right.
It's almost, if you're new, sometimes you're scared or you're intimidated. And that's the great thing. If you've mastered your scripting, no need to be intimidated, is there, Steve?
No, usually we're able to take people that are new and have them fully up and running and with full confidence in a couple of weeks, maybe 2 or 3 weeks.
And that's the thing. Confidence is so important. So I hope what you've gotten out of this is scripting is the foundation of all sales. Looking forward to seeing you on YouTube on Elite Producer Sales Training, where you have free access to an extensive video library on a lot of things that can help you. You can text me or email me to learn how to work with me, or I'll refer you to Dr. Moyne's great script book. And I want to thank you. I want you to remember, elite sales producers are not born. They're made, they're trained. They study. And the number one key to doing that is relentless determination. Wishing you great sales. I'm Coach Phil, and I'm out.